No atlas nya minuya
but
but only one and crowd 170
FM yeah trust on afi yeah the Jumedi no Abraham but say the kan in my intro no I read out for you except of a statement from the Ghana Airports Company Limited and they make the point say from midnight and Ochana in the midnight will be tomorrow, right? Jackson's at midnight by Ochana. Yeah. From midnight Ochana say Ura Ghana Hankwa dia. Na say you vaccinate you by force. It was say vaccinate. I'll read that statement no verbatim for you. Na statement ne ba na anche na National Communications Officer of the NDC, lawyer Sammy Gyamfi, and he added a caveat to the statement, say, you know, any personal opinion or say vaccination must be by choice and not by force. The imposition of compulsory COVID vaccination requirement on all Ghanaians traveling into and out of Ghana by the Ghana Health Service is reprehensible and an affront to the 1992 Constitution. And some of us are determined to fight this. Okay, that's other word than necessary. This through every available legal means, no matter the cost or stigma. And he is a lawyer, ain't he? I would want him to prove to us why he believes this directive is an affront to the 1992 Constitution. And especially because the Public Health Act so clear with some provisions and say aban ebeye de oyeye. And we'll get into all of those discussions no. Na yetumi atwa Sammy akwaba ete saying okay. Poster me kan and one outro
me patcho inyo.
One outro de cho. Enti if say aban bi person obone manfo ho ban na yare as we know fourth wave ena abai and we are told say the latest virus near even more deadly as saying all the previous ones. And why do you think any government will sit down and consent all in the name of amanfobi right and I will say amanfobi choice to do what they please and all of that? Why would you take such a position? Adain
yo obi medas the dikan mamenchia etiefo nyina no or hweye every echichi ne benche on social media. What dikan aka na mamensa nso nsisu biem esan say hia me pa nyina ne say ifi ha maba no mamma se NDC ni mamma se NDC kasamafo me wa ha se Sammy Gyamfi a me ye citizen of Ghana me ye lawyer ni mapa na aban etu anamo bi na me bonyo so na me so me pese me di ma benchire etudwa esan se kadima minke bia mamu no ni nyina ye adwento ato obi za oti ase eno nti me pese hakra no address me a obeyi national communication we no ato nchen kakra we ye na Sammy Gyamfi legal practitioner me ni beje ho esan se in Primpia Yaka say NDC as a party, I'm a Casaman no. Enyantiki a decision on compulsory vaccination. I know the party supports vaccination, and you use your platform. They encourage people to get vaccinated, but say by force, chinchina. I was say open so my and I said by force open so was say vaccinate you, and yes sir. You can't enter Ghana, you can't travel outside Ghana, and then you can work, you can go to certain places in the Dekeka. NDC as a party,
public
yes,
places.
NDC as a party, nyan teki who decision me yawe. And when me pese me personal opinion, I am misconstrued as that of the party. Party in the Babontia, it will communicate that adequately. EBM, I me franka was say, enkomo we are yidi so no. And your politics. They be a maybe fear political issues and maybe discuss. And so COVID vaccines yasem ya yeba beken. Eye ya pomudin ho asem. Issues of public health, issues of the law, so emransem, issues of our lives, our survival, our shared humanity and all that. And for me, a basan seminar party sembianya the ending. A bear one was say, me no NDC for cry, many of communication. Do one me position. And one of them is my senior brother.
Yeah, Dr. Manebo. I'll be reading his,
that is his
post.
Beauty of democracy. And a bear one was to say, MPP will be so enemy a yard. Assembly we be so be at here say, and your politics in Tina me be here. And I will try my best to stay out of that. Now, Obi, what is my position on this issue of compulsory vaccination? Yeba if you check. Since the COVID by about Fiaba Bidim Komwa, only me I've participated in the campaign of getting people to observe protocols and all that. Me fear make a sense of COVID vaccines that. Because for me, se will be ajia to say or here COVID vaccine and no one immunity against the arena. And the right. I will say a penisomano. Now you make vaccines available.
Yes.
What choose to say ope. Boni bieni min kasenti asade ni bida ne mum bia mitia ene se obi si ade na mempe enye mame ne yese chinchina kia ne ken umpo by force ye de be wo enye sade a odwuma bebo untumi nko restaurant untumi nko bank untumi nko shopping mall untumi nko bebia nipa bibiri untumi nko asore untumi nko dwom untimi mbe ura Ghana untimi ntu kwan free Ghana de and no de say on Asempa FM mene abai na nyadwen e was anhyehyɛ no. Why am I saying so? I'm saying so because of two things. They did kindly say compulsory vaccination is not supported by the laws of Ghana. By the laws of Ghana? Yes. Compulsory vaccination say it was said by force, you vaccinated with COVID-19 vaccine. And yes, I want to mean to coin free Ghana, and I want to mean to coin Magana, and Yamra. The Atosu Biumson say, Sanshayano, it is not supported by science, it is not supported by data or any evidence. It is a very unreasonable and reprehensible policy. Saying to so and to Asia a day or how can see an ebebro me. And I mean starting film rano. Now ubi antene once. Who say bimu kutu Public Health Act section 22 mebabo. But the edikano. You are a student of law. Unim article 11 of the 1992 Constitution, which speaks about the hierarchy of laws. It just a ma emra ewo egureti pain.
Ahim function
eti ye womra be parliament ye bi kwa wa ministers na ye but emra ni nyina no de eye emra batan emra kunyina eno ne so wa hoden pa no eye 1992 constitution.
Yes,
eno na mra bi atumi frim eti se emra ketwa bi ene ne bo abura sa mra ketwa no emra e null and void. It may start me argument about the why it is unconstitutional and illegal for people to be forcefully vaccinated with COVID vaccines.
I want to do this, Ansana, just to read the statement from government through the Ghana Airport Company.
Okay.
Obia onte this thing about fourth vaccination. Obi Krebusa say there. Statement.
But the relevant portion is where they are.
Yes. Ain't almost say updated COVID-19 guidelines for Kotoka International Airport. Revision 8. Effective date no 14th December 2012 at 12 a.m. Enti ene ya yewomi say nyame ya adom ne yekokoda enwumre bia obeda be 8 p.m. oda enya abo 12 ken 12:1 eba no say wo flight enya aba beduru Kotoka na ye nwo wo pane ni bia eho na ye be mo wo pane na nsa na we wura Ghana. It is a point number 2 ne can arriving passengers travelers entering Ghana. A. all passengers 18 years and above arriving in Ghana will be required to provide evidence of full vaccination for a COVID-19 vaccine at the point of embarkation. Definition of fully vaccinated, Nini. A person is said to be fully vaccinated when he or she has taken the full dose or doses of vaccines approved and registered by the Food and Drugs Authority, that's the FDA Ghana, or he or she has taken the full dose or doses of vaccines that are on World Health Organization emergency use listing. However, persons who are vaccinated with vaccines on WHO emergency use listing but not registered by FDA Ghana for emergency use authorization will be offered one of the FDA Ghana approved vaccines on arrival at the airport. Enti the way can say yakaso obi a wo pane na eyeden ya eno ne obi a FDA age vaccines bi atome wo Ghana say wa wo sa vaccines ne bi mienu ye wo mienu de ne yo ba Johnson & Johnson ne one
Johnson dey one but they are
kanya mienu say wa wo mienu no ana say wa wo any of the vaccines are World Health Organization ayeden age atomo a omo emergency list no ewo so no mo sai campo say what was her vaccines nibi World Health de no na enye de FDA Ghana agia tumu a ubedru Ghana ha ye be ma FDA Ghana de nibi ama wase ayeden ase awo no nso ansa na watimi ewuram.
Okay.
B ne say all unvaccinated Ghanaians and residents of Ghana who are currently outside the country and intend to return within 14 days from ene ahomachino. They will, however, be vaccinated at the airport. It is a Uber free Ghana. It was a uni Ghana ha uwe bruchre unwo pani nibi. Ghana ni awakwa bruchre unwo. Nasa uba within the next 14 days. A free ene 12 midnight airco unwo pani nkwa dia. Uba eba bedru Ghana ha say Kim. E was say ma wo ansana wetimi ewura Ghana. Airlines that bring passengers to Kotoka International Airport who are not fully vaccinated. It is a way airline. Now, what for passenger free ABS Schiphol in Amsterdam, neighbor Accra. Now, o flights no slow be more on war pani anibia. Oba osa airline ye be say charge o. Am wait to $3,500 per passenger. It is who passengers 100 flights ni ma yen wo mo pania. That's a what about
yeah.
$3.5 million.
I think we can make progress from here.
Yeah, from this part, no.
You see, so what they are bringing is a who say we took free Ghana, Ghana, New Ghana,
yes.
Oh, Baswa,
I was a
and yes, sir, man.
Because he bought man for
the say, your mouthful plane no cross a woba. Until ye de wa fro ababedu a wo ye no cross na ye fine airline. Let's say yembe so be room.
Asempa FM. Ekusi say on Asempa FM.
Ayamramai. We are a country governed by the rule of law. And the supreme law of the land is the Constitution. Now, I read chapter 5 of the Constitution, specifically Article 12. Also, the fundamental human rights and freedoms enshrined in this chapter shall be respected and upheld by the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, our courts, and all other organs of government and its agencies, and where applicable to them by all natural and legal persons in Ghana, including Ghana Airport Company, including Ghana Civil Aviation Authority, including Ghana Health Service, and shall be enforceable by the courts as provided for in this Constitution. And yes, you are able to me by what say a bought amount for buy, but I will say you follow mra near the bomba for buy. And yes, then we'll be living in the jungle.
Yeah.
I will say you follow mraso dia. The fundamental human rights and freedoms are a what yamrapo ni mu. I will say no so you follow. So when you compare Article 21, Clause 1G, opening and say all persons shall have the right to freedom of movement, which means the right to move freely in Ghana, the right to live and to enter Ghana. And immunity from expulsion from Ghana. Your constitution is say obia we Ghana no Ghana ni o ubetu fa hudie se utimi ba Ghana utimi move within Ghana utimi tu kwan so ye den every Ghana obia ntimi enka se ya reject.
Yes.
This is the constitution. But yen na yen say fundamental human rights and freedoms and
absolute. Yes.
Okay, nti mrane ma ho kwan say oboman no betumi e de tabo bi ato fundamental human rights bi so under certain conditions. And we read article 21 na clause 1G na makan yo e wo clause 4 clause 4 no kire conditions are under which aban betumi aka say ampa wo freedom of movement but me the restrictions are there they ato so. Now my first thing is the time say your own constitution and say Seba all persons including citizens of Ghana, you can only impose restrictions on their freedom of movement within Ghana. Restrictions that are reasonably required for public health, public safety, and all that.
And public morality.
On their movement within Ghana or their residence within Ghana. That is all persons, including Ghanaian citizens.
In the lockdown, for example.
Exactly. But to me, imposing restrictions on the right of entry into Ghana of a citizen. Now, share Article 21, Clause 4C. Also, for the imposition of restrictions, if I may read the opening and make it sense, nothing in or done under the authority of a law shall be held to be inconsistent with or in contravention of this article or the freedoms. Okay, to the extent that the law now imposes restrictions in question makes provision for C for the imposition of restrictions that are reasonably required in the interest of defense, public safety, public health such as COVID, or the running of essential services on the movement or residence within Ghana of any person or persons, generally or any class of person, any person including Ghanaian citizens. Yes. There's a way to impose restrictions on the movement within Ghana or the residence in Ghana. And those restrictions, or say, they must be reasonably required for the interest of defense, public safety, and public health. So there is also a certain standard, a certain condition. The restrictions, it must be reasonable.
Yeah.
What did I mention? Say? But when it comes to the right, the freedom of movement, which relates to your right to enter Ghana.
But maybe the restrictions you earlier read, and no say, does that include your right to leave Ghana?
No, or say the right to move within Ghana or residence within Ghana.
Okay, and if you want to leave Ghana, the restrictions cannot cover you.
Or say, you better impose restrictions that are reasonably required in the interest of defense, public safety, public health, or the running of essential services on the movement of or residence within Ghana.
Within Ghana.
Okay. That's the operative phrase there.
Okay.
Of any person. So that includes citizens. But when you come to the D, for the imposition of restrictions on the freedom of entry into Ghana. Not just say you will to impose within Ghana no one provision.
Yes.
Then to enter Ghana, also say we can impose restrictions, but here. For now, to impose such restrictions. Also for the imposition of restrictions on the freedom of entry into Ghana or movement in Ghana of a person who is not a citizen of Ghana. So when it comes to imposition of restrictions on the freedom of people to enter Ghana, it is only non-citizens that you can impose restrictions. Because for the citizen, there is no such condition here. Whether it is for public safety or health or whatever, you cannot impose restrictions on the right of a citizen. You can't do that. It is only for non-Ghanaians, non-citizens, that impositions can be, but even those imposition of restrictions must be reasonable. A real constitution. Come to the act and amount for.
And your understanding of that,
yes,
of restrictions on Ghanaian citizens entering Ghana,
yes,
and they say that right, no, giving Ghanaian citizens outside Ghana, absolute, no?
Yes,
it's
absolute.
absolute.
The Constitution says so. The right of any citizen to enter Ghana cannot be subjected to any restrictions, because the Constitution has shown you the rights are able to impose restrictions on.
But no right is absolute. So how can that right be absolute?
No right is absolute. The money absolute has been spelled provided for in the law. It was show. So certain rights are absolute. The right to life. What show say absolute, because court bit nyama order say yunkumu.
Yes.
It is a court and ma order na ukukumu bi illegal. The freedom of movement is not absolute. Within Ghana, your freedom can be restricted. Into a bit me a lockdown. But entering Ghana, me wo baby, me ba mi krom no. Unto me can say constitution in mao any power to impose restrictions on that right. And obi say bi wo constitution ni mo. I've read it. Obi nchire me baby e wo. And amaba act in public health act. Yes. I don't know amount for you soon.
Section 22 speaks about.
I don't know when people are reading. I don't know how they read that they don't see certain glaring things. Because
Section 22. Compulsory vaccination. Okay.
As an do there is public vaccination.
Public vaccination. Section 21.
And the compulsory vaccination flows from public vaccination. So if you don't read it together, you will not understand it. And I try to say, when you are interpreting statutes or any law, you interpret it as a whole. So let's start with 21, which talks about public vaccination. A public vaccinator shall vaccinate free of charge persons who present themselves or are presented for the purpose, or persons who are or become liable to be vaccinated. But this subsection 1 does not apply where vaccinations will be injurious to health, or where there is satisfactory evidence that the person is already successfully vaccinated, or otherwise has natural immunity to the disease. So there's a public vaccination, you bet me vaccinate you bia. Public vaccinator bet me vaccinate you bia, or no presented home, and I presented no, and now you're liable to be vaccinated.
Yes.
So be a way to coin by a but you see, exceptions and also absolute. If the vaccine is injurious to the health, and now say,
who determines that?
Maybe when you look at section 21, he doesn't tell you who determines that. Injurious to health. So it means that it will have to be determined based on the available evidence and facts. The available evidence, as it shows, a vaccine way injurious to life, and that is how it will be determined. Okay. Then about and I say me natural immunity na ngasa me believe say bet me abom ho bandada covid ba yeko 2 years me natural immunity abom me nya bia and I will be quite me nya bi on show symptoms na the natural immunity ama ne ho ato no onya bi bi mu a this law says public vaccination mean nya public vaccination on you. So more go to 22 more kind 21 answer. Then even when you get to the 22 we talks about compulsory vaccination, there was an exception. Two things. Or say the minister by executive instrument, generally or with reference to a particular district, area or place with respect to a particular class or classes of persons, order the persons to whom the instrument applies who do not produce satisfactory evidence of successful vaccination to be vaccinated by a public vaccinator. You can order them to be vaccinated. You. Unless in the opinion of the public vaccinator, the vaccination will be injurious to health. Now, number one, there is nothing in this provision which says when you refuse to obey that order, you should be denied entry into Ghana because one compulsory vaccine. So you cannot even tie section 22 to the rights of entry into Ghana, which is already provided for by Article 121 clause 1G. Ghana need a right to enter Ghana. You cannot impose restrictions on that. So you cannot interpret 22 because 22 doesn't provide the remedy for refusing that order. And one can say a public vaccinator by force maybe vaccinate you no and you lose your liberties. It is not there. So why are people reading that there? And we are number one. Number two, we also say the minister can only do this by issuing an executive instrument. I have done my checks, and per my checks from Assembly Press, no such executive instrument has been issued as of today.
The minister can do what? Can
see, the minister may by executive instrument generally or with reference to a particular district. No, order say ye edimu compulsory vaccination. What am I say?
Okay.
Minister no was yes amra no away. It is our almost fiat na Ghana Health Service ne Ghana Airport Company is based on what executive instrument? They make no reference to that. How can we be living in a constitutional democracy and be tolerating this illegality?
The Imposition of Restrictions Act not make provision for what they've done.
The Imposition of Restriction Act doesn't say anybody should be vaccinated by force. That was what provided for the restrictions of lockdowns and all that.
Yeah,
it doesn't talk about compulsory vaccination. There must be
you refer to the Public Health
for that. In fact, the restrictions in the that was the act. Imposition of Restriction Act was an act. It's not an EI. But under that act, several EIs have been passed.
Absolutely.
And those EIs have to do with lockdowns and restrictions on public gatherings.
And the same as EI also air quality for.
Exactly. And there is no EI on compulsory vaccination. Where are they deriving that power from? Then even number 3. Here, follow the sequence of my argument. Number 3, no, even when he issues the executive instrument, it is not automatic. Or say, except the public vaccinator determines say the vaccine is injurious to health. So here he gives the power to the public vaccinator to decide. But can a public vaccinator pick DDT and say, because I have decided that it is safe and not injurious, may inject it? And no. Because when discretionary powers are vested in you, same must be exercised reasonably and fairly. You cannot exercise that arbitrarily or capriciously. So it means say, determination say at the end injurious to health and must be based on something. Are you getting me? So where is that basis? Ghana Health Service, Ghana Airport for what say those vaccines now more cannot they are safe and not injurious to health.
Okay, let me get some clarity now for you to some rather. Number 1, from all the laws you've read, first from the Supreme Law,
from the Constitution.
Yeah, from the Constitution, and secondly from the Act, the Public Health Act. You make the fundamental argument, say NA after 12 midnight, so be drew kotoka. Now oye Ghana nin kwadia. The person pursuant to Section 21 of the Public Health Act, can decide, say, because me feel say me personal immunity kutia yare no enti I can decide that pani and I should be allowed entry into Ghana.
That's public yes, that's our law. So those who are quoting the law, you cannot take one part of the law and reject the other parts. You don't approve it and reprove it. You take the law in its entirety. So the same law that talks about public vaccination or talking about public vaccinators, they say if it is proven so be natural immunity bit me about no by won't mean for so no. And 2, Sadia no so injurious to the health won't mean for so no. Or no so be determined that based on evidence. Or we no about compulsory vaccination or say compulsory vaccination. So I just say minister issue executive instrument. In plain there is no such executive instrument. Into muni kwan say or mu impose or maka so mo compulsory vaccination. So what you mean? Number 2 so no. Yes, say even compulsory vaccination where it will be injurious to health and then say and I say that determination must be made based on evidence. Ghana Airport Company and Ghana Health Service in fact date Biamaya. It say any of the vaccines is safe. Now what
no so but injurious to health no. Say me nipa no and meka say vaccine way injurious to my health into me.
Yes, you can say that. You see, when you look at 21, it doesn't give the power of determining whether it is injurious to health to a public vaccinator.
Yes.
It leaves it open.
Yes.
So you, the one rejecting, can prove, say, may what evidence a chest idea we injurious to health. And now say, may what kidney problem, may what asthma,
yes,
may what cancer, may doctor say, idea we may what able to me I escalating the condition. And see, for me, and just be a den but for me, underlying health situation, are you getting me?
Yes.
Then I can prove and justify that. That is what Section 21 of the Public Health Act is saying. Then 22, when you come to compulsory vaccination, it says the public vaccinator, if he determines that at the end safe, injurious to health, and also so it needs to here by force. And I make sure say, and son to me determines that the end is safe. It must be properly grounded
in the
on something.
answer.
You cannot just say a DDT cry is safe without giving any basis.
It is based on that determination.
They are injurious to Ghana. They are injurious to health. And it's a FDA better.
FDA better too. Yes.
Good. Into 1 year ban. Mamini can we say or kind Article 20, Section 22 of the Public Health Act, or which is a compulsory vaccination legal in Ghana. No, they should read the Constitution first, relative to entry, because that the right of entry, because that provision in that subsidiary law, that Act of Parliament, has even relate to the right of a citizen to enter his own country and cannot detract from it because the Constitution is supreme.
And are you
then when they finish, they should read 21 and 22 together, and they will see, say, compulsory vaccination is subject to so many exceptions, and in this case, all those exceptions are present. So you cannot impose vaccination on people.
But let me say, based on 22, no, say public vaccinate and make a determination. Say a drone is safer.
You can challenge it because on a determine say it's safe. So what you say? So what is it? Public administrative law, public administrator, and Article 23. Why make a decision? If I think that decision is unreasonable,
you can
go for judicial review.
That's true.
As I said, G Mensa, I make a decision instead of I can go and challenge it under judicial review. You know that's true. So because you cannot just say something is not injurious to health when that thing doesn't have a license.
It is the American say once it is established, all things being equal, say after at the end injurious to health, it is safe, no?
Yes.
At that point, compulsory vaccination can go on.
You can do compulsory vaccination because if you read 21 and 22 together, you can prove you can do compulsory vaccination if number one, it will not be injurious to health. But it will not be injurious to health. It's not just about the safety of the product. It also has to do with its impact on an individual.
On the individual.
Because the product can be safe, but because of the peculiar conditions of an individual, it may not be safe. So it cannot even be a carte blanche. Are you getting me? That's one. And then number two, if you read it together with 20 to 21, you will see the exception of natural immunity.
Yeah.
Are you getting me? Because it's all about public vaccination. So if it has also been proven, say, natural immunity to me could see COVID-19.
To rely on it.
Now, okay. And I like Obi so far. I like your approach, and this is how I think. Say, I was here started this with a very objective mind, looking at data and the facts, so that we can help educate the public. It will be a real legality, you know. And don't forget the Constitution. They say entry there you can't impose restrictions, but even restrictions on movement inside the country, residents, which they are contemplating and which they have started. Because I know government institutions or certain man for force vaccination 1 year you will lose your job. I know, and we'll come out with a list. Let me deal with even the restrictions, because the man say 21(4)(c) they say they must be reasonably required. So reasonability. How do you convince me, say vaccine FDA of Ghana in approve? You can reasonably compel somebody to take it.
Which of them the FDA have?
None of the vaccines, all the 6 that the FDA has listed, the Ghana Health Service and the Ghana Airport Company have listed in their circular. Say none of them has been approved by
FDA.
Yes.
Are you sure about that?
None. That's a 10 year bar. And they maybe I mentioned that on my website because they issued a statement in July.
Yes.
And they spoke about 2 products that are emergency use authorization. I'm by 5. So I decided not to rely. I wanted to update my record. So I went for the idea we almost publishing 2021 year, that 10th year, then October me wa.
Yeah, October.
28th. So 28th October 2021. 6 vaccines, and almost say COVID-19 vaccines granted emergency use authorization by Ghana Food and Drugs Authority. And emergency use authorization, it has not been approved, it has not been registered. So we share Article 181, almost Mukita Public Health Act. They should read it. Article 118, Section 118. Me very sorry. ansana aduro bi beba Ghana ye be kasa ye nton ana ye distribute bi be use no. Or say a person shall not manufacture, prepare, import, export, distribute, sell, supply, exhibit for sale a drug, herbal, medicinal product, cosmetic, medical device, or household chemical substance unless the article has been registered by the authority. What kind airqua or better investigations? There was a FDA for year test. There was some year and some of my register. You register you and the amount FDA license. So I deal with me out on, I'll be to me distribute, be to me supply. What beauty? Vaccines when I might be
now from where you read, no, is there no provision a cassette maybe in a state of emergency?
No, send you me uko US US mrama ho kwan say omo ya ade a ye friend emergency use authorization.
Yes.
Mrana o FDA mrana ma ho kwan say emergency ba na duro bi wo ye nya approve ye kra na ye nya nyintu mu nya hwehwemu ni nwie ye say ye papa but eye emergency ntino if the known risk and benefits of said drone also change the known and potential benefits and also change the known and potential risk yeah and yeah even though say you test ya de ni nyuntum say papa no ye mfa mama for US for mra no the Ghana there is no law I am my FDA for kwan so mutimi ma aduro bi emergency use authorization.
So why did they do that?
Yes, because I read their own guidelines and I'll give you a copy of this. Food and Drugs Authority guidelines for emergency use authorization of medical products. America for Nebuamo Moye Omoakanu. A dated 15th March 2019 to work of American system. Let's say the Omokanha. The Food and Drugs Authority shall leverage section 118, 169, 170, 171, 172, 173 of Public Health Act during a declared public health emergency to approve the use of an unregistered, unapproved medical product under the emergency use authorization. Act sections of Makotu Nina Makokai 118 na say adie no aduro na was approve 169 na say minister betumi declare emergency section 169 170 na clear the emergency powers are minister na during that emergency 171 172 170 ni nyina bi anywhere emma omo kwan to be able to give emergency use authorization but what the right to do it, okay? What do they say about emergency use authorization? Almost number one, it is given for unregistered medical products. In the intro.
Yes.
Then about eligibility. There never product be emergency use authorization. Almost say this is when an unregistered medical product can be authorized for use during a declared public health emergency. No matter. The products and their uses are not approved, cleared, or registered under section 118 of the Public Health Act. However, the FDA may issue emergency use authorization only if after consultation with the Ministry of Health. In there no more approval, you won't clear. But more consultation, you must then you near draw, you kunipa into where the benefits no do so change. We know you test new way. Even though you approve, but I'm for no. I don't know more for an emergency.
As long as the emergency situation no persists.
That is it. No more no mobile. Emergency use authorization product and DNA. That based on the totality of scientific evidence available, including data from adequate and well-controlled clinical trials, if available, it is reasonable to believe that the product may be effective in diagnosing or treating or preventing the disease. So, possibility they are not even sure. So because we are not sure, test studies you need sufficient data to tell whether it is effective or safe. And emergency use authorization, man approval. And
there are no timelines for that emergency use authorization.
They can even withdraw it at any time after say I'm a nipa no withdraw. Page 20, paragraph 4.112. And I'm say information for recipients. A dry man emergency use authorization. Just say you approve here no. What the come obia? There was some man information. So say
FM.
FDA recommends that recipients be given as much appropriate information as possible given the nature of the emergency and the conditions of the authorization. For healthcare provider carrying out any activity concerning an emergency use authorization, recipient must be informed that the FDA CEO has authorized the emergency use of the drug and has evaluated the potential benefit and risk of the drug. Recipients must have an opportunity to accept or refuse the emergency use authorized product and must be informed of any consequences of refusal. So,
This is the guideline.
This is their guidelines, which does not even have any basis in our law, like the US has. Okay, but let's even work with it. On one say the emergency use authorization means none of the vaccines have been approved by them. They said they approve paracetamol, no coatem, no COVID vaccine, you approve this and a coatem in your pet. Coatem, you approve, you have test, you approve COVID vaccine, yeah. By emergency, abentino, based on information, Kakaya, why you free say. At the end of it, you have one nipa chain, send a besi, a kum nipa na ebesia, hanipano, nipanya de enom. Name ye say, the idea man no, ye man who information here, near man who quite or no bet to say, at the end of me walk and amengo. This is FDA. And the FDA for guidelines will quality compulsory vaccination. So why is it that a drawer, ye nya approve ye and license ye force nipa set nipa nom? And yes, sir, you can't enjoy your liberties and your rights as a citizen. But the FDA says no.
Even though emergency use authorization, no, as long as the emergency persists, and that determination of an emergency, no, will be made by the minister.
Yes, and the parameters, the criteria is there.
And as long as the emergency exists, no, this drug, even though full authorization properly so called.
It has not been licensed, it's not been registered. That's what it is.
Fair.
They are not even sure whether it can prevent or treat. It may possibilities. Yes.
But the conditions under which the emergency authorization was given, no, still persist into that drug, no, as we speak. Until the emergency authorization is
the guideline says because you can't force anybody to take FDA force a choice. And you say Air Force. That's page 20, paragraph 4.11.2. And you have for documents. So why will Ghana Airport Company and Ghana Health Service do something against FDA guidelines? Or when they approve a bro? About drew approval FDA. FDA force are there approval yet. You to me can say you're safe. And you're better than a public vaccinator. I make a determination say these vaccines which have not been approved by the FDA yet are not injurious to health. If it is not injurious to health, they should approve it today. Why wouldn't they approve it? Because there is something they don't know. They are still doing the experiments. They are still studying the data. They are still monitoring before they can come to that conclusion. Say, at the end of the day, some of them approve. At the end of the day, by force, one would you mabable. One with you to find one with sebi in previous Nyansa Benu.
Sammy, there are two sides. I want us to go step by step. There were two. From the Constitution, the right of Ghanaian citizens entering Ghana, and the fact that right is almost absolute. And if you Ghanaians were within the territories of Ghana. Our so the Emranima Quine said, you can restrict their movement.
Yes.
It is here compulsory vaccination now. If we cannot use that to restrict entry into Ghana by Ghanaian citizens, based on section 21 and 22 read together, to then tell Ghanaians within Ghana somebody by force.
No.
Because again, constitution we can restrict
yes, the constitution it must be reasonable.
Yes.
And it is not reasonable for you to force somebody to take a product and number one, you have not approved it. You are not done testing it. Say I didn't know because law say you can only do it when it is not injurious to health. Now if you have not approved it, how can you say for sure? Is there any data FDA for one now? Actually will be no COVID vaccine. The Ebellian will be move for the next 10 years, 20 years, 15 years. Do they have? They don't have. That's why they can't approve it. They need more time to study the vaccines. Are you getting me? It's a dear young experiment. We see what the open data we know. We can't approve your license. And on a young force will be manenom. Now we are no more. On to be exercising the right as Ghana. You want to mean sorry. Want to mean supermarket. Want to mean 2 coin. assembly pa, is it fair? Is it right?
I know there are other parts that and the rest of the time I mean way Emra, and tell you what, the interest in the discussion is huge. And messages are man for the Abba. No, don't worry. We'll do everything before we end. And lawyer Sammy Gyamfi and Edin Komo and on the statement and as a secular Ghana Airport Company and the Ghana Health Service Ebomo the buyer. It seeks to get people vaccinated through some form of compulsion. And Onufri say it runs in the face of our laws, and not just any law, the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, and on common or say a science so against science would delve into the science aspect. Now, after my messages are Abba and other questions I mentioned me one media busa the NTA Wimra and then found some carefully in the university.